and welcome to Josie and Ellie Crochet. My name's Pippa, and if you're new here, I created this channel last year. I've been crocheting for probably around 18 years now, and I wanted to create a channel to pass my love of crochet on, provide some patterns, and give you some tips, and hopefully that you'll love crochet as much as I do. So I've created this vlog today all around craft markets. I am very new. I just attended my third craft market, so this is all from my experience, but also I've been networking a lot at these craft markets to try and get as much information as I can from those that are really experienced in the craft market world. And this is to then pass that knowledge on to you, hopefully help you if you're thinking of attending a craft market, or even if you have, maybe you'll find this useful. One thing I am going to do, in the description I've listed the 10 tips that I have for this vlog. So if I'm chit-chatting too much, you want to skip along to the next one, it will be listed at the bottom and you'll be able to skip along to the next point. Okay, I have my notes here. If I'm looking down, it's because I've got my notes that I've written out for you. So the first one is know your crowd, and what I mean by that is know the event, where it is, the type of clientele that you think will be coming there. And the reason I say that is at Christmas, I found it really interesting. I did 2 events. One was in a medium-sized town, and the clientele I had from that was completely different to the Christmas market event I did at a yoga hall, kind of like a yoga retreat shed type place. And the clientele was completely different. I provided the same, or everything I made was the same at both events. I sold completely different things at both events because the clientele was completely different, and the feedback I was getting, which I've noted for this Christmas, is completely different as well. So it really benefits to do your market research into kind of what the market is, what else is there, who might attend. I have one Christmas market coming up that I actually attended last year, so I could get a good look and feel and see kind of what the vibe was and what the clientele was. So it definitely really helps to know your market. I say that as well. I went to a spring market, but it was the first time they'd ever run this market. I'd seen a lot of advertisement for it. They run a very successful craft market in a different area, and they were trying it in this area, and not very many people came at all. It was empty, quiet for majority of it. It was a last minute booking for me because I saw it last minute and I thought, shall I, shan't I? I've got one coming up in the summer, and I thought, well, I'll make a bunch of stuff for it, and if it doesn't sell, I've got the one in the summer, so I'll be ahead for the summer market. So I kind of haven't lost anything in that way, but I should have done my market research and thought, it's the first time, maybe I should let this get going a little bit before I commit. So the second point I have is to mix up your price points. You want to have a mixture of smaller price items, medium and high priced items. You don't want to stick at all the same level. You want to have that option for people. I found, especially if there's children coming in, and I do this as a parent, if the children really like something, I'll say, well, you can have the one that's X amount of pounds, you know, 3, 4, 5 pounds. We're not going to get something that's 10, 15 pounds. So it's having those smaller priced options for people, but then also having the larger price stuff, because that might be exactly what someone was looking for their loved one, for a birthday gift, for a Christmas gift, whatever it is. So it's having that variety and option for people to choose from. My third tip is, especially as a crocheter, is to bring something to work on. One of at the craft fair I had that was very quiet, one of the other stalls actually said to me, oh, I wish my craft was something that I could sit and do here. I'm really jealous that you're able to, you know, work away and have something to do. So it definitely helps with that. If you have quiet periods, it's nice to be able to have something to do, but also I've found that it brings up a lot of talking points. You obviously don't want to be rude if a customer's coming and you're just ignoring them and crocheting. You want to engage with them and pop your work down so that you can talk to them. But I've found that it really opens up discussions. A lot of the time they tell you about what they do, if they crochet, if they knit, and it just helps engage with other customers. One of the things I did at this one, I only sold a few items, but every time I sold something, I then made that again. So I was back up to stock for the summer market that I'm going to be doing. So that's a really handy thing to do as well. Hopefully the markets you go to are really busy and you won't need to do that. But I did find it help as like a little talking point as well. My fourth tip is about networking. So where I am fairly new, I've used the markets that I've done to chat with the other stall holders, get lots of advice from them, lots of tips, especially if they've been doing it a long time. Soak up their knowledge as well, which is what I'm trying to do here, give you a little bit of the knowledge that I've gained over the last year with markets. The other benefit of networking, to give you an example, is I was next to a stall holder who engrave. They make things out of wood, but they do, you know, names engraved in wood and quotes and things like that. And I have been asked to crochet a heart basket as a wedding gift for my mum's friend's daughter. And my mum saw them and said, oh, I wonder if they would be able to engrave the basket base that you've got for the gift I've asked you to do. So I got talking to them about it. They kindly have done it, and it's beautiful. And that is now something that I'm going to be offering on my Etsy shop. Personalised engraved. I'm going to be working with this other company to provide personalised engraved baskets. So that's the other benefit as well. You don't know where it's going to go and what it's going to do. I was talking to another stall holder that they do sewing, and they do sewing workshops, and they were telling me about where they do it, and they said you should do crochet workshops, people that want to learn to crochet. And so it's a great way to get ideas for you and your business and how it can grow by talking to other small businesses that you could connect with, but also gain their knowledge. One lady actually has completely put me off doing outdoor markets. Maybe as the business hopefully grows, that might be something that I can do, but at the moment I'm not at the point where I can invest in all the equipment that would be required, like the marquees, etc. And the weather puts me off. British weather puts me off it a little bit as well. So point 5, number 5 tip, is to make sure to the best of your ability that your table looks appealing, looks welcoming. Try and have different levels, because that works really well as well. I mean, you can, but I haven't gone out and bought lots of stuff, because you could go crazy with the amount of stuff that you could buy. I really would like to have one of the wooden kind of step bench things, because I think that looks really good, but it depends on what you're selling and what you need. At the moment I'm using black tablecloth, but I'd really like to buy one of the fitted sheets that you can buy. But I'm going to give it a little bit of time, make sure that markets are the route that I want to go down. I've enjoyed them so far, but moving forward, it might be with the type of craft that I'm doing, I might just focus on the Christmas markets. So I don't want to spend a huge amount of money on something that I'm not gonna be doing a great deal of. So you want to make your table look as appealing and beautiful as you can, but don't spend lots of money when you're starting out. The banners and the personalized item, you know, with your company name on a sheet on the table, look absolutely fantastic. But to start with, hold back a little bit, sound it out, kind of do your research before you then start putting the money into that type of thing, because you can make it look good without all of that. And yes, before I forget, if you are selling something that someone needs to see how they look in, make sure you have a mirror available on there. So jewelry, or I'm going to bring a mirror for my Christmas markets because I'm going to be doing ear warmers and hats, things like that. You want to allow the customer to be able to see how they look. So tip 6 is try not to get disheartened, which is easier said than done. I experienced that myself at the recent market. There were no people coming through the door. There was obviously some. I made 3 sales, but it was dribs and drabs, not many people at all. But still I got so disheartened, and I kept saying in my head, I know why, I know that wasn't anything that I did. But some markets will be quieter than others. Some markets, that's a research thing. Some markets, your craft will appeal more to the customers coming than at others. But one of the store holders gave me an excellent piece of, I guess you'd say, advice. And they said that they'd made one thing that they absolutely loved, and they put it out at every single market, and they do a weekly market as well. They're heavy on the market front. They do lots and lots of markets. They do 3 weekly markets. And they said they made this piece, absolutely loved it. It was on every market for 3 years. No one ever showed any interest in it. And then suddenly one person came along and they fell in love with it and they bought it. But it took, you know, that one person. So there are people out there that will love your stuff as much as you do. It's just waiting for that right person to find that right particular piece that they want. So keep that in mind. I thought I really liked that story. Also touching upon that is try not to compare yourself to others, which is really difficult as well. What you do is unique and special and wonderful. Try and remember that. Try not to compare yourself to the other stalls. If you're looking and you think, why is everyone going over to that store and spending so much time over there and not with me? Just remember that you are wonderful at what you do, and the right people will come along to your stall. So my point 7 tip is to think seasonally. So try and think ahead. So if you have a spring market, you're thinking about Easter products. If you have an autumn market, you're thinking about Halloween, you're thinking about Christmas. So even at Christmas, markets in October will be doing Christmas products as well as Halloween. People do think ahead with Christmas. Don't wait until the December markets to produce your Christmas products, because a lot of people might already have everything they need for Christmas by then. So try and think ahead, think seasonally, think what people are going to be wanting for that time of year at the market. So moving on to tip 8, point 8 is be prepared. Again, each market you do, you think, oh, I forgot that, I know I forgot that. The very, very first market I went to, fortunately, it was in a town, and my husband came with me to help me set up. and I'd bought the card machine because it was my first one, and I was all excited, set it all up, and my husband said to me, "Where's all your cash for change?" And I thought, oh my goodness. I said, I didn't even think about that. I was so worried about the card machine, I didn't think to get money. So fortunately, because we were in a town, he was able to walk to the bank and get some cash out for me. So make sure you have your cash with change, make sure you have your card machine and your phone, and make sure that your card machine and your phone are fully charged. That's the other thing as well. Little things you'll want as well, such as scissors, tape, gift wrapping, bags, any stickers or business cards. So I have little thank you stickers that I use instead of tape to seal the gifts when I wrap them up. You might want to offer a little bag to put that in as well, and you can put your business card in as well for them so that they can look at you online as well. And for you, make sure you have drinks, make sure you have snacks. Depending on the type of event, there might not be any drinks or snacks available, depends where you are and what you're doing. A lot of them do, but you want to make sure that you're able to stay hydrated, and depending on how long it is, normally they're around 4 to 6 hours. So you're going to need something to eat in that time to keep your energy up and keep you hydrated. Tip 9, customer connections. So you want to have something out so that they have the option to connect with you after the market. They might look at your stuff and think it's wonderful, but think, I don't know if I need that right now. I don't know if they'd like that. I haven't thought about that person's present yet. I'll come back to it. So whether that's a business card, whether that's QR codes up, whether it's your socials up so that they can take a photo of it, they can look it up there and then. Business cards, they can take it away and come back to it. You want to have something so that they are able to connect with you after, if they want to come back, if they think, oh, I remember that. You want them to be able to remember you. And obviously, social media favoriting you on your Etsy shop, things like that are things that you want, and if they have they probably won't remember your name, so they'll need a little reminder of what that is. So we're at my final point now, which is reflection, and that is partly what I did and why I have done this video blog. Because I was reflecting upon the markets that I've done so far in preparation for the summer market that I'm going to be doing. The only way you're going to improve and get better is if you reflect and think, what worked, what didn't work, what am I going to do differently next time, what did the customers like, what did they ask for? And then by reviewing all of that and adapting for your next market, the next market should hopefully improve compared to the one that you've most recently done. So any feedback that you can get from customers as well is always valuable. And reflecting on how you felt about it as well. And that's, again, I've touched upon that. I reflected upon how I felt because I was so disheartened, so upset, even though all the other store holders were in exactly the same boat as me. So it wasn't an individual thing, or it wasn't that my crochet wasn't good enough. It was just the circumstances. But reflecting upon that, I now know that I don't want to go down that route again. I'm really intrigued to see how I personally am going to find the summer market, because the type of things that I like to crochet, I feel that I can sell, I personally think maybe suit the colder months of the year. So I'm intrigued to see how the summer market will go, and to see if moving forward I'm just going to stick with a couple of Christmas markets as my kind of craft market. Can't think of the word, but you know what I mean. I think moving forward maybe I will just do Christmas market. So I'm interested to see on how the summer market will go. But hopefully you have found this helpful. Hopefully I have given you some tips that potentially you hadn't considered. I'm hoping that if you do have a craft but you're not at craft markets yet, maybe this has given you a little bit of a push or encouragement to get out there and try. Market stalls can be very, very, very expensive. 100, 200 pounds down that route. I personally stay and I try and stick around the 20, 30, 40 pound mark, because there's always that worry, because you have to spend a lot of money on materials and time and effort to prepare for that market. It's a lot of outgoings, so I personally don't want to spend a lot on the stalls to not make it back potentially. But it's finding out what your price points are. Pricing your products is a completely different kettle of fish as well. I don't really have any words of wisdom with that, other than look at what you have bought for material wise. Consider how much time it's taken you, but really you want to make money on the cost of the materials as well, and how much time it's taken you. But yes, thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed this vlog and that it's helped you with understanding craft markets a little bit more. Thank you so much. Happy crocheting!